Hey guys, here we go into a breakdown of Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez. And that's if they met at the point of Ryan Garcia fighting Luke Campbell. Now, first off, I want to say Ryan Garcia looked phenomenal against Luke Campbell. He did something that I was very unsure about whether he could do it or not, and beating someone who was good, well schooled, and crafty like Luke Campbell. Because Luke Campbell's fought the best in the division. He's fought a who's who of levels of boxing opposition. He's fought fighters at all levels, even fighting Lomachenko, who's one of the most elite fighters in all of boxing. Um, so beating Luke Campbell is a big deal, even if he was kind of getting schooled in some of the early rounds with the lead hand control. But that's not really going to be one of the important ideas here when deciding whether or not he's going to have success against Teofimo Lopez. The idea here is what level is he even going to make it through? And what we're going to be focusing on is his technique and how he constantly has his hands in positions that are not able to defend the line between him and his opponent, right? So Luke Campbell would be able to land a punch here if he wanted, right? If he was ready. Again, how wide he opens up when he looks to throw his punches. His hands are not anywhere near in places for him to defend the line or control the space. Now, another problem that he has, he likes to step with his punches, and that, again, leaves him very vulnerable to counter punches. And Teofimo Lopez, a very good counter puncher. Now, again, one of the habits that Ryan Garcia has, his hands are not always in position to defend himself. Notice the right hand comes in to defend Luke Campbell's left hand, and he's completely exposed for Luke Campbell's right cross here and winds up eating this shot. A very well and clever shot from Luke Campbell, but in any case, Ryan Garcia finding himself too many times in positions where he does not have his hands up or in positions to defend the line against his opponent. And again, here we have him stepping in really hard to land the hook here, but with his hands down, no feints, no probes, and no setups. A very dangerous proposition against any fighter. Again, taking a step here, controlling the space, and where are his hands? Where are his ability to cross the line against a likewise dangerous opponent? Again, his hands are always down, and I want you to pay attention, especially to this clip here, when he comes in and he's getting caught after throwing his jab here, and he gets caught by the cross before any other punches land. Boom. And he has that hand here, as you can see, entering the line and controlling the space between him and Ryan Garcia, or him and Luke Campbell before the shot. But he doesn't find a way to cover the line after he throws that punch. As you can see, Luke Campbell able to catch him in transition from the back half of his line to the front half of his line. And again, his hands are just not in a position in which he can defend himself. Now we have Teofimo Lopez standing in front of Richard Comey stepping with his punches and being countered by Teofimo Lopez in the first round of their fight. And again, people probably don't realize this, but Richard Comey is a very, very dangerous fighter. He's very talented, very skilled, very, very difficult fighter for anyone to fight. And Teofimo Lopez knocking him out in the second round was an absolute brilliant performance. It was immaculate. It was as good a performance for Teofimo Lopez at his level of competition as Ryan Garcia beating Luke Campbell at his level of competition. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Richard Comey is, again, he's a very good fighter, but look at the rate at which Teofimo Lopez can react and control Richard Comey's attacks, right? Getting control of the lead hand, getting control of the rear hand and defending it, and then coming back with the counter, still being able to find a way to land punches, right? In the first round, setting up a brilliant counter exchange and hurting Comey, almost knocking him down in this exchange. Again, I want you to pay attention to the hands position of Comey and the position that Ryan Garcia finds himself in when he's throwing his right hands. Again, very dangerous if you don't have your hands up or in a position to control the space after you punch or defend yourself after you punch. And again, very similar to Ryan Garcia, but Teofimo Lopez is able to catch these shots and block them because of his overall better technique and better understanding of positions here, finding himself able to block those shots. Again, very active with his counters, especially when his opponents are kind of stepping in with their punches, able to pull counter that with the jab, but also catching and getting a hold of these shots. And again, pay attention to the positioning of Richard Comey's hands here. Very similar to Ryan Garcia, but at least he's getting his head over his front leg and off the line here. But he's still getting caught with the counter with the shot that almost dropped him. And again, Teofimo Lopez, I just wanted to point this clip out here. Arguably a better athlete than Ryan Garcia, and will likely have an even better left hook than Ryan Garcia does. And I think that that's going to be one of the ideas that goes unnoticed in this fight when people are talking about how they want to analyze it, and they want to say, well, Ryan Garcia has that left hook, and I don't think people are realizing that Teofimo Lopez has a better one. If you haven't seen the Magdaleno fight, his left hook is comparable to maybe any in boxing. He's been, consistently an overperformer. Now again, Teofimo Lopez, fantastic timing. And again, fighters, when they don't set up their punches, or they're feinting or probing, or they get baited into shots, right? Again, Teofimo Lopez baiting the shot from Richard Comey and then getting his head off the line and countering him. But I want to pay attention to that positioning of Richard Comey's hands. Again, not really defending the position or having his hands up. But this is a very similar habit that Ryan Garcia has. As we see here, Richard Comey's hand is down when he crosses the line. Teofimo Lopez is very good at taking advantage of this. Now we're going to see Ryan Garcia entering the line against Luke Campbell here. And what happens? Immediately getting picked off with a shot. Again, he doesn't actually enter the line with very good head movement, something that even Richard Comey is doing here with great head movement, getting his head off the line and still getting caught. Teofimo Lopez is able to catch him as he's going from his position 1 to position 2 to position 1. But we have Ryan Garcia here not really using any head movement here as he gets on the line with Luke Campbell. Now I know southpaw orthodox dynamic, but bear with me as we pay attention to the position of his hands when he throws his right hand. The position of it when he controls the line. Now where his hand is here when he's about to throw his right hand. Again, not in a position where he's covering the line or able to defend himself really with either hand. And then again, when he's about to throw the left hook, where are his hands, right? Where is his hand after he landed the right hand? He's not in a position to defend himself. And Teofimo Lopez is just going to be much too quick with the counters, especially because Ryan Garcia doesn't really set his punches up, as we can see in this clip here. Just kind of blasting out of his positions, right? And throwing these punches. Now, this sequence here in particular, right hand, left hook here, I want to pay attention to in particular. It's going to bring us to our next point here. Why does Ryan Garcia fight like this, okay? Now, first, I want to show in these clips here, these are the best punches that Ryan Garcia lands all fight. He hurts Luke Campbell at the end of the 5th with this left hook here. But look at his hand position. Even the best punches that he threw all fight, he still winds up with his hands down and not in a position to defend himself. Again, here's the left hook that knocks Campbell out, right? The body shot. But look at the positions of his hands. Even though he got this feint here, he's not in a position to defend himself. So if Teofimo Lopez was here, he'd be countering and attacking this position. And again, like I said, I do believe that Teofimo Lopez has a better left hook than Ryan Garcia. And I think that idea is going to go very unnoticed. So, why does Ryan Garcia punch like this? Why are his hands always in these positions? Well, this is why, right? For all the great things that this bag has taught Ryan Garcia about striking and about punching and about power and about technique, we can see clearly in his fights how working the bag in the way that he does is failing him in his professional fights. So this drill, he's going to have to start adding to it and finding a way to layer his defense on top of the work that he's getting done here. Otherwise, he's going to have to discard this exercise from his routine and find a way to replace it. Because we can clearly see how this technique and the way that he goes about attacking the bag is what puts himself in these positions to not be able to defend himself when he's on the line. Again, it's all about layering your drills, right? Now, I want to point out a few things. He's starting on the back foot. His weight is on the back foot. And when he throws this right hand, he's going to cross the line, transfer his weight, and change positions, right? And then when he's on the front foot, he's going to, in order to get his weight to the back foot, and when he throws his left hook, he's going to cross the line, transfer his weight, and change positions, right? These are the three most fundamental ideas in all of your training. No matter what training exercises you're doing, these are the habits that you want to practice as you're learning boxing. These are your most basic rules. And then, as you get better, you want to add rules to these to increase the difficulty of your training. Add little layers to them. And one of those layers for Ryan Garcia is going to be controlling the line, finding a way to make sure that at the end of each of his punches, he can control the line without having to change positions. And now, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about what that means, check out my Patreon. It's $20 to sign up, $20 a month, and it's all personalized coaching. It'll be your shadow boxing that I'm analyzing. It'll be your heavy bag work. It'll be your double in bag work. It'll be your speed bag work, your drills that you're working or the things that you're doing that I'm going to look to improve on and teach you about your technique so that you can kind of get to the next level of your training. All of us are in different places in all of our training. All of us are in different places in our boxing lives, and we all need different things and different reminders at different points in our training and technique and all that stuff to keep us on track. And it's important that you have someone who can film study you and pay attention to what is going on in your technique that's preventing you from going to the next level, as well as being able to coordinate and design drills specifically targeted for your areas of development. So if you're interested in personalized coaching, I'll also be starting to do Zoom sessions, but personalized boxing coaching to learn technique, to learn power, and ways to develop your technique and your power on a personal level. Check out my Patreon. It's $20 a month, $20 to sign up. And also, I do all the post-fight film studies there, the full entire post-fight film studies, incorporating my personal boxing language, the way that I describe boxing, with weight transfers to the front foot, changing positions, feinting and probing, and all the things that I talk about, head positions, and where your weight is on the front foot or the back foot, and using these ideas to teach you in your training, in your film study, in your shadow boxing, or in your sparring. We get much more sparring on average than people want to send in their training, but as well as matches and fights. So it's a really interesting and cool place. If you guys are interested to check it out. I don't really usually talk about the kinds of people that are in my Patreon because it's private. It's private coaching. But if you're interested in becoming part of the private coaching, I promise you there are a lot of really, really cool surprises in there. So check it out. Yeah, thanks, guys.